Congratulations to the New York Giants on beating the Minnesota Vikings and that joker Kirk Cousins. But now it's time to go up against your arch nemesis, the Eagles. Get ready to face the good guys. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and I gotta tell you this. I am ready for next week. Divisional round of the playoffs, as the New York Giants are gonna face the good guys, the Philadelphia Eagles. And you gotta give the Giants a lot of credit for beating the Vikings and that choke artist, Kirk Cousins. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe for Eagles content, NFL content. You definitely don't want to miss it. This is the most censored, most throttled, paused Eagles content creator in all of the internet. So the only way to break out of that prison, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe. And if you've been subscribed for a while, you know the deal. Thank you for all your support. You know what to do. All right, so let me first say this. I want to thank everybody who was with me in all the streams that we did over the last 2 days. 4 games in 2 days. It was a lot of fun, had a blast. And really, except for that second half of that San Francisco game, I thought all the games were fantastic. The Jags game was great. The Bills game was actually highly entertaining. Miami made a game of it. I thought the Giants game was really good and entertaining too. And now the Eagles are going to face the New York Giants in the divisional round of the playoffs. Now, let me get a few things out of the way here, okay, in regards to the New York Giants and the Eagles and them playing this week. One of the things that I was hearing a lot in my stream during that Giants game and after we kind of knew the Giants were going to win was, it's very hard to beat a team 3 times, Philly. You say all the time. Very hard to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. That is totally true. I totally agree with it. But in this case, I don't see it that way. Okay? I don't see it that way, and for one reason. I don't consider the second game a truly fair matchup. I don't. The Giants sat all their starters, and we all knew that they weren't going to win with their backups. Now, they played good, and they gave us a good fight. However, it's not something you can really judge. So I don't look at it like the Eagles, if they beat the Giants, they beat them 3 times in 1 year. I look at it like if the Eagles beat the Giants, they beat them twice. I'm not a Dallas fan. I'm not going to say we beat your 4th-string players and we're going to keep telling you how great we are for beating your 4th-string players. You don't even hear me talk about us beating their backups because you beat the backups, whether it was by a lot or a little, doesn't matter. So I consider this game versus the Giants this week the second game. This is truly the second game versus the New York Giants. And congratulations to the New York Giants. And I truly mean this. You know I'm an Eagles fan. I don't like the Giants. But I do have a lot of respect for a lot of the fans. For the most part, I think the Philadelphia Eagle fans and the New York Giant fans are very similar. Okay, more similar than not. That's just the truth of it. I think that early, like in the 80s and the 90s and even 70s, I think they went 2 different ways, right? Giants were winning some Super Bowls. Eagles were getting screwed over and losing. And we kind of went like this. Over the last 10 years, it's been the opposite. The Eagles have been winning Super Bowls, and the Giants have been doing nothing and stinking. I think Giant fans and Eagle fans are very similar. So I enjoy the matchup every time we play the Giants. But I do want to congratulate the Giants. I have a lot of respect. I hate the team, but I have a healthy respect for Brian DeBall and what he's done for that organization. Turning Daniel Jones around, turning that Giant team around. He deserves a lot of credit. I give him full credit. He's done a great job, and to me, it's between him and Doug Peterson for Coach of the Year. I thought in the game versus Minnesota, I thought Daniel Jones played his best game I've ever seen him play. I think it was the best game I've ever seen Daniel Jones play. Mostly, I think, because of his decision-making. I think Daniel Jones took off 17 times in this game. I think he carried 17 times. He made great decisions. He was, for the most part, pretty accurate. And part of that is there was no pressure on them. They didn't get a lot of pressure. If you remember Minnesota when they played the Eagles, and I remember talking about this in the preview video, was the Vikings don't like to blitz. They don't like to bring pressure. And you see what happens when you don't bring pressure and a quarterback can just sit in the pocket and beat you, okay? This is something Jonathan Gannon is going to have to make sure he avoids. I know he likes to fall into that into that mindset of where, you got like an umbrella defense, a soft defense, and you let keep everything in front of you, and you don't blitz, you don't bring more pressure, you rush for. I think the Eagles have to get to Daniel Jones. If you get to Daniel Jones will make mistakes. He's shown it before. He can be a turnover machine, although he's cut it down a lot this year. I still think you can hit him, he can fumble, and he'll throw the interceptions. But you have to get pressure. Minnesota got no pressure. And I really think that this game was won by the Giants' offensive line because that offensive line kept Daniel Jones clean most of the game. You saw Minnesota really have no problem moving on the Giants' defense. I don't think the Eagles are going to have a problem moving on the Giants' defense, okay? But you got to give the Giants a lot of credit. I got to give them a lot of respect. I do. I want they deserve it. I think they're an up-and-coming team. And truth be told, I said this in my stream, and I mean this now. I would have rather played the Cowboys than the Giants. That is the truth. Okay, I know Cowboys fans, oh, come on. But I feel that way. I think the Giants game is a tougher matchup than the Cowboys. I think the Eagles take the Cowboys to the woodshed. The Giants, I think, is a tight game. I'm telling you right now, this is not going to be a blowout. The Eagles aren't putting up 48 points. It's not going to be some game where we're going to walk over the New York Giants. I don't believe that for a second. This is going to be typical Eagles-Giants football. It's going to be smash-mouth football. Two Northeast teams that play outside, play in the cold, are going to get out there. And the team that doesn't make the mistake in the fourth quarter is going to win. Okay? Take the 6th seed. Take the 6th seed, throw it away. Take the 1 seed, throw it away. Throw it away. Division games, especially in the playoffs, tend to be close. Just look at Miami-Buffalo today. Seattle kept it close a half and then totally quit when Geno Smith fumbled. But division games are tough already during the regular season. They're even tougher in the playoffs. Now, the Eagles will show to be victorious. I believe that. I truly believe that. And I think that a lot of the struggles that we saw when we played the Giants and their backups had to do with the Eagles really trying to handcuff Jalen Hurts for his protection and to keep him from getting hurt or aggravating that injury. I think they really handcuffed him, which handcuffed the offense, and then they didn't run enough. I think you'll see that all change, okay? You'll see that all change. Jalen Hurts will have full reign, and, it'll be interesting to see if the Eagles were holding things back on the Giants on purpose in that game, thinking there may be a good chance that they may have to play him again. I said there was a 70-80% chance that the Eagles were going to play either Dallas or the Giants. And that's why I think Brian Daboll did the right thing by not playing the starters that last week. Rest them, beat Minnesota, and then you'll get your shot at Philly. He played it. He played it right. He played it perfect. Brian Daboll is a good coach. And this division is heading in a direction where it's not going to be Eagles, Dallas, the top two teams in the NFC East anymore. It's going to be the Giants and the Eagles in the future. Giants got to go out and get some weapons and things like that. But it is my feeling that the Eagles are a far superior team. They're a far better team across the board. And I think they match up well against the Giants. You stop Saquon Barkley and you get pressure on Daniel Jones. You man up. Play man, and I don't know if Gannon will do this, but I would play man with my corners on their receivers. I believe you can shut them down, get pressure on Daniel Jones. It's checkmate. It's checkmate. I still do not worry about the Giants' offensive receiving weapons. Now, they tore up the Minnesota Vikings, but listen, if you give any quarterback that amount of time in a game, you're going to be able to make throws. I don't think he gets that much time, Daniel Jones, against the Eagles in that situation. But the Eagles are going to have their A game. They're going to have to be ready to play. I can't sit there and tell you this is going to be an easy game, easy blowout. We're going to go out and win. It's going to be a dogfight, man. This is going to be an old-fashioned dogfight. And I think and I believe in my heart that the home field advantage will be a huge factor. Now, I think the Eagles are right now, I saw, 7.5-point favorites. That means they're over touchdown favorites against the Giants. I think it's going to be much closer than that. I think you're talking about a 3 to a 4-point game. I do. You know, and if the Eagles go out and they destroy the Giants, then to me, they're going to Super Bowl. Because I tell you this right now, if the Eagles are going to lose a playoff game leading up to Super Bowl, if they're going to lose one of these two home games, the divisional game or conference, it's going to be this week. This is the week they're somewhat vulnerable. Championship game, they're not vulnerable, they're winning. So it's going to be interesting. Now you got the Buccaneers and Dallas. They're going to play tomorrow. I will be streaming that live. Should be a lot of fun. Well, tomorrow when I'm filming this, because this is almost midnight, but in the morning when you guys are watching. So Dallas, Tampa tonight, Philly 500. We'll be streaming it. Don't want to miss it. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Whoever wins that game goes to San Francisco. Can you imagine a situation where the Eagles play the Giants in the divisional round and then the Cowboys? It's going to be awesome. I love the situation. I love that the Eagles are playing the Giants. I think it's a tremendous game. I think it's a tremendous matchup, and I think it's going to make the Eagles better coming out of it. Do I think the Eagles are going to win? Of course. Of course I think the Eagles will win. I'm very, I know the Eagles are going to win. I just don't want to be too cocky. But I'm pretty confident. I feel really good, and man, I can't wait to see this. Giants-Eagles, in my opinion, the true round 2. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. So this would be a great situation. Imagine a situation where you have the Eagles play the Giants, they beat the Giants. Cowboys somehow beat the Buccaneers, go to San Francisco, and beat the Niners. Because I'll be honest, I think the Niners are beatable. I think if you get the Niners in a position where they have to throw and they have to get Purdy to help win the game with his arm, I think they're in trouble. They need to have the lead, they need to be up, and they need to be able to keep running the ball. If you put them in a position where they have to throw, I think they're in trouble. I think Dallas, because they have the better quarterback, they could beat the 49ers in San Francisco. And if that happens, and the Eagles beat the Giants, knock them out of divisional rounds, then the Eagles play the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. They could knock both teams out. How great would that be? Then you go win the Super Bowl and win it all. It don't get much better than that. Denzel Washington.